Welcome back, Fragrance family. It's fantastic to have you here again. Today we're diving into something truly exciting, a brand new release from a house that needs no introduction. We're talking about Armaf and their legendary Club de Nuit line. Get ready because a bold new contender has just entered the ring, Club de Nuit Lionheart Man. We're going to keep things straightforward and get right to what you want to know. So what's the plan? First, we'll do a quick breakdown of the fragrance profile itself, exploring the notes that make this scent tick. Then, the moment you've been waiting for, we'll unbox it live right here and get a feel for the presentation. We'll examine every detail from the box to the bottle design because we all know that first impression counts. After that, it's time for a showdown. I'll be putting Lionheart Man head to head with two absolute titans of the modern fragrance world. First up, the powerhouse that is Jean-Paul Gaultier's Male Elixir. And then we'll see how it stacks up against a highly hyped beast from Lattafa, the kingdom. This comparison is going to be epic, and I can't wait to see which one comes out on top for different occasions. But that's not all. Stick around until the end, because I have a story to share, a genuinely unexpected experience I had while wearing Club de Nuit Lionheart Man for the first time. You won't want to miss this. It completely changed my perspective on the fragrance. It's a story you have to hear to believe, and it speaks volumes about the kind of attention this scent can command. Let's get this unboxing started and see if Lionheart truly lives up to its name. Is this the new king of the Club de Nuit jungle, or just another release? Let's find out together. The Lionheart collection showcases a sophisticated, dark-toned packaging aesthetic. Each box is adorned with embossed lion crest on the front, an emblem of strength and refinement that adds a premium, tactile dimension. Lionheart Man is presented in a 100 milliliters bottle, distinguishing it from earlier Club de Nuit releases, which typically feature a 105 milliliters format. We're taking a closer look at what makes a fragrance feel truly special, and it all starts with the presentation. First up, the front of the box. It's clean, it's elegant. You've got the fragrance name, the brand, the size, and the concentration, all laid out perfectly. It just screams sophistication. Now let's check the bottom. Everything you need is right here. The barcode, the batch code for authenticity, and the full ingredients list, total transparency, which I love to see. Flipping it over to the back, there's a neat authenticity sticker, giving you that extra peace of mind. But here's the really cool part. The box doesn't just open. It presents the fragrance. Inside, there's a clever pull tab. You give it a little tug and the bottle just glides out. This isn't your standard flimsy cardboard. It's solid, refined, and feels incredibly premium. For presentation alone, this is a solid 9 out of 10 from me. It's a fantastic experience right from the start. Alright, let's talk about the bottle for Club de Nuit Lionheart Man. Man, this thing is a statement piece. Seriously, it's designed to grab your attention from the moment you see it. First off, you've got this delicate chain hanging down, connecting to a metal medallion that features a super regal lion's face etched right into it. The detail is just fantastic. Then you look at the cap. It's made of embossed metal, and the texture is really unique. It makes me think of serpent scales or maybe even alligator skin. It has this very primal, powerful feel to it. But what I personally love most is the sheer weight of this bottle. When you hold it, it feels substantial, like you're gripping some kind of luxury weapon. It's solid, it's powerful, and it's unapologetically bold. It's not just a container. It's part of the whole experience. The overall design feels masculine and confident, a nice blend of modern luxury and classic Armaf toughness. Even the atomizer performs well, giving a smooth and wide spray, no cheap mist here. I'd rate the bottle design a solid 8 out of 10, elegant, powerful, and worthy of the Lionheart name. Now let's talk about the scent itself, the soul of Lionheart Man. The fragrance opens with mint and lavender at the top. In the heart, there's vanilla and benzoin, and the base rounds off with tobacco, tonka bean, and honey. Alright, let's spray it in the air. Right off that first mist, you get a strong blast of cool mint, sharp, energizing, and instantly refreshing. And yes, it definitely reminds you of Male Elixir. But here's the twist: Lionheart feels a touch brighter, a bit more alive, and noticeably more vibrant than many of the other clones or inspirations out there. On skin, the aromatic freshness, sweet undertone, and that soft mintiness come together beautifully, creating a clean yet confident vibe. There's also a hint of lavender right underneath, adding that smooth barbershop-style cleanliness that balances the freshness perfectly. So overall, Lionheart Man comes across as more aromatic, more minty, and with a more pronounced lavender note. It pushes that mint right to the front, making the opening feel crisp, bright, and incredibly fresh. As the scent begins to settle, the mint gently softens, melting into a creamy vanilla and warm benzoin core. The transition feels refined and well blended. It's not overly sweet and it's never harsh. Then, as it dries down, the tobacco and honey start to come forward, rich, cozy, and a little seductive. That mix of sweetness, spice, and warmth adds depth and gives Lionheart a comforting masculine edge. It's a fragrance that starts bold and cooling, then evolves into something smooth, warm, and inviting, a really satisfying scent journey from start to finish. The opening is definitely one of the highlights of this fragrance, bright, minty, and full of energy. It grabs attention right away and sets a confident tone for what's to come. I'd personally rate the opening an 8 out of 10. Now let us compare Armaf Club de Nuit Lionheart Man with the original Male Elixir, because that is the question everyone has been asking. Starting with sweetness and richness, Male Elixir is undeniably thick, deep, and sweet, loaded with honey, tobacco, and vanilla. Lionheart, on the other hand, carries a very similar DNA but adds a twist. It's fresher, cleaner, and puts more emphasis on that mint note. When it comes to the mint and herbal top, Male Elixir keeps its mint more balanced with the other notes, while Lionheart pushes it right to the front, making the opening more crisp, more vibrant, and definitely more versatile for everyday wear. In terms of projection and longevity, Male Elixir is known to be a beast, loud and long-lasting. Surprisingly, Lionheart delivers impressive longevity and in many cases even surpasses Elixir in projection. And toward the end, I'll reveal a personal story that shows exactly how Lionheart outshines Elixir in real-world performance. And finally, when you compare the opening versus the dry down, Male Elixir hits with a heavy, sweet blast at first, which can be a little overwhelming until it settles. Lionheart, by contrast, starts minty and sharp but transitions more smoothly as it dries down, giving a cleaner and more balanced evolution. So overall, Lionheart stays true to the Elixir DNA but adds its own freshness and flair. It feels a bit more wearable, a bit more modern, while still keeping that same seductive backbone that made Male Elixir so iconic. So to put it simply, Lionheart Man leans more aromatic, with a stronger presence of mint and lavender, giving it that crisp and refreshing edge. Male Elixir, on the other hand, is sweeter, richer, and a bit denser overall. The midden elixir is beautifully blended, smooth and creamy, while in Lionheart, the vanilla becomes more prominent in the dry down, wrapping the fragrance in a warm, inviting sweetness. Both share the same DNA, but Lionheart feels fresher and more uplifting, while Elixir stays deeper and more seductive. What stands out to me in Lionheart Man is the mid, not just sweet, but a smooth caramel warmth that unfolds beautifully. In contrast, the Kingdom leans more toward a sugary, almost candied profile. Lionheart kicks off with a bold minty punch, sharp, even a bit toothpaste-like at first, but give it a moment, and it transforms into a rich, aromatic dry down with commanding projection. When it comes to performance, both hold their ground, but Lionheart often edges ahead, lasting longer, projecting stronger. It's the kind of scent that announces your presence before you speak. Value-wise, the Kingdom is the budget king, no doubt, but Lionheart turns its higher price tag with sheer presence and polish. Also, Lionheart Man is just 10 bucks expensive, and if we're talking presentation, Lionheart takes the crown there too. Let me tell you a story about the first time I experienced Lionheart Man. See, I didn't test this in some small cramped room. No, this was in a mansion. So I took the bottle, gave it just a few light sprays, and waited. Within minutes, this incredible wave of minty lavender freshness started swirling through the air. It was crisp, clean, and immediately captivating. But it didn't stop there. 5 minutes later, it wasn't just the living room anymore. The scent had gracefully crept up the grand staircase, filling both floors of the entire house completely. Can you imagine that? A fragrance so powerful, so diffusive, that it fills a whole mansion with just a couple of sprays. That was the moment I realized Lionheart Man isn't just a perfume, it's a presence. It announces itself. The air became thick with this amazing blend of cool mint, a hint of creamy caramel sweetness, and that warm, comforting touch of lavender. And the best part? It didn't fade away after an hour. It lingered, creating this sophisticated and inviting atmosphere for hours on end. And here's the crazy part, the compliments. Every single time I wear this, without fail, someone comments on it. It could be friends, family, or even complete strangers stopping me to ask what I'm wearing. The projection on this thing is an absolute beast. It leaves a trail that's impossible to ignore, but in the most pleasant way possible. I'll give you another example. I once accidentally left the bottle in my office over the weekend. When I came back 2 days later, the entire room still smelled intensely of Lionheart. It was as if I'd just sprayed the strongest, most luxurious air freshener imaginable. That's when it truly hit me. Lionheart Man isn't trying to be a mere copy of something else. It's a powerhouse in its own right, a scent that refuses to be ignored, and is determined to make a statement. If you're looking for a fragrance that performs, gets noticed, and lasts forever, you might have just found it. If you enjoyed this little story and want to see more fragrance reviews, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Pros and cons of Lionheart. Pros. Strong opening with mint plus lavender makes it feel more modern, fresher. Second, high projection, especially first few hours. Third, good longevity, particularly on clothes. Fourth, good value compared to the original Male Elixir. Fifth, has its own identity, not just a flat clone gives. Something a little different. And here's another big plus, Lionheart Man doesn't require any maceration. Unlike other fragrances in Armaf's Club de Nuit line, which need a few weeks to settle or mature after opening, Lionheart performs beautifully right out of the box. From the very first spray, you get its full strength, projection, and depth. Cons. If you want the exact nuance of Elixir, especially in the original's smoothness or tobacco or honey depth, Lionheart may differ. When it comes to weather and occasion, Lionheart Man truly shines when the air starts to cool down. I've been testing it throughout October, and let me tell you, it performs exceptionally well in this season. The crisp air of fall brings out that perfect balance between the minty freshness and the warm, sweet base notes of vanilla, honey, and tobacco. This is where Lionheart feels alive, not too heavy, not too light, but perfectly balanced. It wraps you in warmth while still keeping that refreshing edge. It's definitely a fall and winter fragrance, ideal for those chilly evenings, date nights, or even a casual outing when you want to leave an impression. During the colder months, the scent projection and longevity really step up. The mint and lavender stay vibrant, while the vanilla and caramel tones add cozy depth. So if you're rethinking about picking this one up, this is the perfect time to buy it. Because Lionheart Man is not just another warm fragrance, it is made for the season where confidence meets comfort. Now let's talk about the price. As of now, Lionheart Man sits in that affordable luxury range. Depending on your region, you can expect it to be priced between $45 and $60 for the 100 milliliters bottle, sometimes even less if you catch it on sale. I actually picked up my bottle directly from Armaf's official store at Dubai Duty Free. Lionheart Man is totally worth every penny for its quality and power. And if you ever find yourself passing through Dubai Airport, you already know where to stop. Summary. If you love Male Elixir and want something close but with a fresher twist, Lionheart is one of your strongest options. If you want something very similar but cheaper, the Kingdom is also excellent, though may sacrifice a bit on projection opening intensity. Male Elixir remains strong in its original character, especially in richness, depth, perhaps smoother transitions. If you can afford Male Elixir, get this one. I'd go with Lionheart Man. Share your own experiences with Lionheart Man in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because there are plenty more exciting fragrance reviews coming your way soon.